Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to be explaining how to do on-page SEO. There's going to be two parts for this video, so we're going to have to separate each one. Therefore, this video will be part one. So on-page optimization basically tells Google what your page is about. So Google basically crawls your page and you will need to tell it what the page is about or your website is about. It's also about user interaction. Google loves user interaction. So the more people interact with the page, the more Google likes it, therefore increasing your rank. This means having things like images, polls, and graphs, or just anything in general that you can think of that will get the user to interact with your page while they're scrolling through. Also, a quick tip is to be including pros and cons in your subheadings. This is something that I'll explain further in this video. So now we're going to jump into the computer and I'm going to show you exactly how to do this step by step.
Alright guys, so let's say you want to go after the keyword just pet supplies. So this is what you need to do. Step one, you need to make sure that the keyword is included inside your heading. By the way, this is just an article I snatched online, didn't write it myself, just for exam purposes. So what you guys want to do, pet supplies, as you guys can see, this is heading 1. This is heading, I can make that heading 2. Okay, so it's not the main heading of the article. Main heading of the article is always heading 1. Everything below it is heading 2. And then if you want to add a subheading in here, it will be a heading 3. So if you add something underneath this one, it's a heading 3. Let's just keep it at heading 2. So add pet supplies in your title. That's step 1. Step 2 is to add pet supplies inside your URL. So as you guys can see in the permalink, I can go and edit here. I can remove all of this and I can just say pet supplies. Okay, so I press save. So now my URL says the keyword pet supplies. Now, the next step you guys want to do is you want to make sure that you include the keyword in the first 4 to 5 sentences. So let's just say this is the top paragraph on my page. Let's go going for a walk around, local park, going for a hike. Now it's fun. Let's just say here, make sure you have the right pet supplies and are ready to go out. Okay, so here as you guys can see, I've included the word pet supply, so there's my keyword. Try to include it in the first 4 to 5 sentences of your article as well. Now the next step you want to do is you want to try and see how many times you did include the word pet supplies in your article, because sometimes you didn't include it a lot, sometimes you didn't include it a bit. It just depends on the keyword and what you're going after. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Google, we're going to search up best pet supplies, okay, and then we're going to try and look for a blog. As you guys can see here, many of these places are actual stores. They're not really blogs, so this might be a bit hard to actually go after. However, we did find this one here, the top online stores to shop your pet supplies. This is a blog. All these are stores. Like I said, this is probably not the best keyword to actually go after when you're trying to rank, because most of these places are actual stores and they're hard to try and compete with them. But let's say we're going to stick with that one. Now you want to see this web page. We're going to go Control F, Control Find, and we're going to search pet supplies. And we're going to see here that they've included it on their page 10 times. So as you guys see, they've included it in their title, in the first 4 to 5 sentences, like I've said. They've also put it in a heading, and then they've put it inside different categories. So they've included it, say, 10 times. So it just shows you, okay, I can include this around 10 times and not have to worry about, over optimizing. So let's say we want to include it around 10 times in an article. So what we do is we go around and we see, okay, we can include it as H2 headings. So we can say, okay, research the best or best prices or best pet supplies on our budget. Okay, so this is obviously something someone else will be asking. As you guys see here, it's a H2. However, let's just say we want to make this best supplies, best pet supplies prices. Okay, And then we want to include another question underneath that's answering this question. So let's say we want to duplicate this. We put some information here and we want to put this down here. And now we want to talk about best pet supplies on a budget. Okay, so this is basically, this will be the H2 heading, as you guys can see, H2 heading. This one we're going to make it a H3 heading. Okay, so this basically underneath best pet supplies, it's basically just a subheading, a subcategory. Okay, these obviously you guys can go onto the keyword search and see what other people are searching for, and then from there you guys can see other relevant stuff you can put into your article. So you put pet supplies, however you're still putting up pet supplies prices, best pet supplies on a budget, best pet supplies for dogs, best pet supplies for cats. So it's basically just other things people are searching for that are not necessarily just pet supplies, and that way they will stay on your page longer, and that will obviously help with ranking because they're not bouncing as quick. That's, you know, just in more detail, they will stay on your page longer. All the information is there, and that way you'll rank higher on Google. So that's just another small tip. You want to make sure you include, you know, subheadings of relevant keywords based on your main keyword. Now, the next thing I wanted to mention was Google is pretty smart. So if you guys want to try and, like, if you guys are not really trying to rank for best pet supply prices, or just say, instead of best, let's just go pet supply prices. Let's just say we're talking about, let's say best pet supplies, and we're listing the best pet supplies, and then somewhere in here we say the prices of pet supplies for dogs are $20, okay? Let's just say that we include that in the article. Now, Google is smart enough, when they're going to crawl the page, they're actually pretty smart enough to pick up that and actually rank you. If you've done on-page optimization properly, they'll be able to rank you for best pet supplies prices because you've included it in here. So you don't have to really like include the keyword altogether. As long as you make your article natural and actually include everything that a consumer will be looking for when actually going through your article, like a potential buyer, then Google will rank you for a bunch of other keywords that you won't even realize and you're not even trying to rank for. But as long as you're able to do on-page optimization properly, that is like a bonus from Google. Now, if you guys don't know what to write about, you guys can jump on a website called LSI Graph. And this website basically shows you different things and questions people are asking on Google based on your keyword. So let's say we want to search it here. We want to search pet supplies. Okay, press generate. And now it's going to go through Google Scraper and it's going to see different relevant things people are asking based off pet supplies. So these are basically, you can make these H2 headings that you can write about, and it just shows you like here, discount pet supplies online, cheap pet supplies online. So you can make a H2 heading which says cheap pet supplies online. So let's say we want to make this cheap pet supplies online. Obviously make, capitals, make it look neat and everything, so on. And then you talk about the cheapest pet supplies online here. Okay, you go back onto here and you go, okay, let's look at dog supply stores, cheap cat supplies. Let's say we want to talk about cheap cat supplies. So you go back onto your thing, you make a H2 heading, or so let's say H2, we'll make this one H2, we'll talk about it by itself. Cheap cat supplies, talk about cheap cat supplies. So this is basically, you're not going based off your keyword 100%, but you're going around it and you're basically targeting keywords also of what people search online. So that way Google will be like, okay, you're not going to rank just for pet supplies. I'm going to rank you as well for cheap pet supplies online. I'm going to rank you as well for cheap cat supplies, because as you guys can see here, people are searching for this as well. 260 people, 260 volume a month. The one before was 390 volume a month. So people that search for these keywords, you will rank for it as well, as long as your on-page optimization is done well. Now, the last thing with on-page optimization is inputting images and making alt text. Now, this is an old school SEO tactic. You guys don't want to really, do this for every single picture, but here's how basically it works. So when you input an image in here, let's just say we're gonna scrap this. We go here, we go image, okay, and click onto it. or you guys can just click here. Sorry, click image. Click onto image. Okay, now you upload image, media library. Let's go to our media library. Upload, let's say, just say our logo. Okay, so from here, when you click onto it, on the side you should have alt text, alternative text. So then you can basically just explain, hey, say this was a photo of dog supplies. You can say here, or just say pet supplies. You can put in here, under this image, pet supplies. Pet supplies. Okay, and let's say you add another image. So let's say we duplicate this one. We move it a bit down. We add another image somewhere down here in the article. We don't want to call, now this is a different image, because this is a different image. We don't want to make pet supplies as well. We want to make it something different. So that's where you go into the relevant keywords and go, let's go for discount, or let's say just a picture about wholesale pet food. It's a picture of pet food. So you make this wholesale pet food. Now this is a very old school tactic, but once again, every small thing you can do that counts would obviously help your SEO and make it as perfect as possible. So not all keywords need to be the same. You need to try and make them different. So one is pet supplies, another image could be wholesale pet food, and another keyword, again, you don't really have to do this, it's just a bonus. The last thing you want to do is you want to make sure your article is well structured. So obviously it will include the images, it includes polls, it includes interactions. It's just structured well and it looks good. So as you guys can see, you go back to Google search, you see the way they structured their article. This is not really an article, but it's more like, a product page. But you see how it's structured very neatly. You basically want to do the same thing with your one. Make sure it's structured very neatly. Once you're done with it, you can click on the update. And then once it's done updating, click preview. And you guys can see that. Now obviously if you followed all these steps and you've included it in your title, you've included it in your H2, you've included it in, where's pet supplies here? Let's search pet supplies. Okay, you've included it in your first 4 to 5 sentences, and you've included some images, some alt text, you've included H2 headings, you've included it in H3 headings with relevant text, and it looks very neat, the article looks very neat. Then, if you're able to send good social signals to this, and, it will be able to rank very well on Google. Just depends on the keyword. Like I said, with this keyword, there are a lot of stores here, so it's going to be very hard to rank for best pet supplies. But for a much, easy keyword, a page where you guys do good on-page optimization, you guys follow all these steps, you guys will be able to rank your pages in no time.
So in conclusion, look at what your competitors are doing and do something similar. Don't copy them. Just do a similar structure because it's working for them and it's what Google loves, and important, it's what Google